This is the last call for fantasy football. Back-to-back days with some technical difficulties to start the show. Justin can fix it. He's the editor-in-chief of the show.
Yeah.
I just I'm the recording monkey who handles all this stuff on this side, and then I send the file over to Justin, and he takes care of the rest. So
It's easy peasy.
I was gonna say I feel like I got the easier end, to be honest. Although this was complicated to set up at first, but I enjoy my responsibility at this point.
You have the headache during the moment. Yours probably more stressful, but
Yeah, I just feel like because I got like everything just like surrounding me, my docs here, the like stats and stuff, and then the OBS thing in front of us. And as my face is frozen in a hilariously, and now I'm black. So we're gonna, I guess we'll keep going till this fixes itself.
come on, man.
Anyways, you intro the show. I'm gonna try and
That's not
figure
cool.
this. Oh no, okay. Now I'm back, white and all. So it's Thursday.
Okay.
I almost said 11/7/2024. Like who the hell enunciates it like that? It is November 7th, 2024. Thursday night. We have a football game in an hour and 40-ish minutes. So we're excited for that. So we wanted to get this thing rocking and rolling.
Oh, get moving.
I know. We got to move on. Zelda,
Come on.
she's hanging out,
She's chilling.
chilling back there, aside being her normal crackhead self. So last call Zelda in the building. We have a fun show. I think so. I really like this show. I know I said that about yesterday's show too, but we're back with Back on Track. It's a Trap and our FanDuel lineup, which if you watched, not yesterday's, if you watched Monday's episode, I lost the rankings challenge. So I had 7,000 less on my DFS lineup. So my budget was 7K less. It was a struggle. Still put together a God Squad that can take down whatever the hell Justin put together. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be great. So we're going to kick it off. Anything pressing on your mind? How are you going to leave me out of the ceremonial first sip start episode? Fucking bitch. Toodles. Also, the shock tops are running low.
What, is that the last two?
No, I got like 5 more. But
Oh.
when you get 24 of them,
You got 24 shock tops?
yeah, it was buy one get one free, 12 packs.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Okay. I was going to say, dude, I don't know if I could drink. Well, I would drink that many, but I would not choose to drink that many shock tops.
No.
Unless it's buy one get one free.
And as I picked them up, I had the first one, I'm like, they're not as good as I remember. And I was like, damn, I really got 24 of these now.
Yeah, there are a few where, like, it's nice to have a 6-pack every once in a while, but no more than that.
I know. So now that I was included in our festivities, let's get back on track. Right? We diving right into this?
Yep.
All right.
Let's dive into it.
Cool beans. I'm going to let you go first. So for recap purposes, back on track, these are players that either last week or in recent weeks haven't performed to their expectation or their ability. And these are players that we think are going to take that next step and get back on track this week against their respective opponent and should be in your lineup. So hit it. Who's your first one? Also, we didn't share these, so we could have duplicates. So
yeah, that's possible. My first one is Jonathan Taylor. He only had 48 yards last week against Minnesota's stout defense. Honestly, I was looking into how stout of a defense Minnesota has been, and I will say,
what will you say?
Either Jonathan Taylor isn't as matchup proof as I would have thought, or the Colts defense was just not getting it going, and that really hurt him. Because it was just kind of a sloppy game. Because I looked it up. All the other running backs that have been elite, like Kyron, Gibbs, others, they actually balled out against Minnesota still.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jonathan Taylor's versus the Bills this week. The Bills defense, we've harped on it. They suck.
Their rush defense sucks. Their pass defense is pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Somehow. Which doesn't even make sense because I think what they actually got rid of in the offseason was their secondary.
Yeah.
Because they still have all their defensive ends and stuff.
Well, but they're missing Matt Milano, which I think is like the biggest piece
big.
for them, and he is coming back. And I don't know if he did come back because, like I said, we're a fantasy football show, and we don't give a shit about defense. But he either is coming back or has come back just recently. Okay. So, but I digress.
Anyways, it's a great matchup. Jonathan Taylor is him. He's gonna bounce back. He's gonna do better than what he did last week for sure.
No, I agree. Unfortunately, we talked about this. I wish he would. Oh, I'm not going to say that. I hope he has a poor fantasy performance this week. But unfortunately, I don't believe that will be the case. So, my first back on track is someone who I quietly have forgot about because he has been quiet since he came back from injury. It's Malik Nabers.
Oh my gosh, he was a player that I was like, as I was going through the back on track in my mind, I meant to put him on my list, but I didn't. So that's good.
Yeah, so he.
Well, we're talking about him.
He scored 5.9 fantasy points last week against a very easily beatable Commanders secondary, which
he has been great. I don't think he's had a good game in the last.
He's been under 10 fantasy points in standard scoring since he came back from the concussion, which is a stark contrast from the otherworldly start to his career he had. So, he's not going to be held down for long, especially this week. They play the Panthers.
Yeah.
So I think it's a slam dunk back on track with Malik Nabers. He's going to have huge big play opportunity. I think the Giants steamroll them in this game. I don't think the Giants are as bad as their record shows. I don't.
Me neither. I actually think their defense is nice.
Right.
I honestly don't know how they're 2-6 because
7 now.
I guess they are similar to the Titans in that way, where they have good defenses, but their offense is utterly atrocious. But they're good enough to get Calvin Ridley and Nabers some work.
They're just so so inconsistent. Like they're just not a good football team at winning games. Like they can move the ball a little bit, they can rack up a few yards, but just like they're a team that you just don't expect to punch it in the end zone often and not settle for field goals. Like I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from watching the Giants this year and every year except for that weird magical year like 2 years ago when they were a great team. So yeah, Malik Nabers.
Inevitably probably screwed him because then Daniel Jones got a contract out of that.
No, what's his name? The coach.
Daboll.
Yeah, Brian Daboll. He bamboozled the shit out of them. He won Coach of the Year and doomed the team into eternity. So
yes,
doomed them to Daniel Jones for eternity. We'll see what they do this year. It'll be interesting. But
there you go. All right. My second one, for whatever reason, I feel like we talk about this player too much. DeAndre Swift.
And for my second back on track player is DeAndre Swift.
No way. In order? That's crazy.
Yes. So, no, I agree.
Yeah, he only had, I mean, honestly, even though he didn't have a touchdown last week, he's actually kind of decent. I think he's reminding me of James Cook from last year, where he's going to get a ton of work in the passing and receiving game, to where even if he doesn't have the touchdown, he doesn't kill you. He gets like 8 to 9 points.
Yeah.
Which is what he did last week, and I think this week he's going to eat against the Patriots.
DeAndre Swift had 8.2 standard points with 3.2 yards to carry against Arizona, which was super disappointing because this was a plus matchup for the Bears as a whole, and they didn't capitalize. So that's why I think it's another slam dunk back on track for DeAndre Swift playing New England's garbage run defense. So I'm in, starting with confidence. He'll be back. I think that this Bears team is like, they're on a roller coaster of emotions right now. I think they're a very fragile team. When they're up, but when they're down, they're down. So like I think that they need to find some steadiness, some consistency with their
I
team.
think they're still trying to figure out what their team is. I think
Exactly.
they're still trying to figure out who's the wide receiver one. Honestly, so far, I think it's Roma Dunze.
Recently, it has been Rome Dunze has been the more reliable target recently in recent games than DJ
Yeah.
Moore and
I
Keenan
don't think
Allen.
he's really. I think he's only had one like good game,
Yeah, not
but he's
talking.
been steady as far as just not being scripted out of the entire game.
Yeah, not fantasy relevant, but like for the Bears, Rome Dunze
Yeah.
has been the the more reliable option. So they're still figuring out DeAndre Swift back on track against New England, and I think the Bears win this game pretty easily. Unfortunately, for Pats fans and Pats truthers out there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
But
I wouldn't mind watching that game. I think Drake May is.
oh,
I
it's the
think it's
number.
actually gonna be kind of good.
It's the number. We had the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick. What, two
Oh, you're
weeks
right.
ago, and now we have the number 1 pick versus number 3 pick. So we got May versus Williams. So interessante. But I'll let you do your third because we had the same two. So
All right, my third is Drake London. He actually had an okay day on paper,
you think he plays?
but
He has a hip pointer,
uh,
and he's questionable right now. He
yeah,
was
I
at
feel like at
practice.
this point in the week you'd usually be doubtful. And the fact that he's practicing,
So it's from what I hear is with Drake London, a hip pointer is it's very uncomfortable and a pain tolerance thing. Like it just hurts like hell if he
oh,
gets
that's
hit.
fine. And they're gonna give him a fucking Toradol shot, and
Yeah, I don't. Oh, whoa, we're back. Are we back? I'm
am I
lost.
back?
Nope, you're back. Now I'm lost. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Okay. Did you
Um,
hear what I said?
yeah, they're giving him a Toradol shot and he'll be
Yeah,
back.
we'll give him a Toradol shot. I'd be out there. I'm calling it.
Oh boy. Let me try and fix this. You talk
I
about
think I
Drake
think this
London while I.
Falcons team is gonna dominate this New Orleans team. It's tricky because typically when you fire your coach, the team does well historically. So that kind of scares me. But I think even if that is the case, it's not going to be the defense that prevails for the Saints. It's going to be just a dogfight with both offenses playing well, which is probably impossible, but we'll see. So I think the Falcons will do enough to where even if he ends up being the 2 on the team this week because of the injury, I think he still, gets 75 and a touchdown or something like that,
Yeah,
which is drastically better than 27 yards.
it's fully dependent for me if or if he plays or not, and if he doesn't get knocked
Yeah.
out. If he doesn't, 100% back on track. But the only reason he had a bad game last week was because he got hurt on a touchdown. So, um, I think he's a prime candidate if he plays a full game. Drake London, I told you Drake London. Where was he in my rankings? I want to say wide receiver 9. Yeah, he's my wide receiver 9 rest of year for
Yeah.
um, for the season. So full confidence, let it fly. Back on track, Drake London.
All right, what's your third?
Let's see. Who is my third? I am bullish on this guy because and we differed a little bit in our rest of season running back rankings where he lied. You didn't even put him in your top 12. It's James Cook
Well,
against
he didn't
the Colts,
Taylor's. Yeah, it's crazy.
which probably. But James Cook against the Colts, speaking of Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, he had 6.9 points against Miami in a plus matchup. It just didn't fall his way. And Ray Davis had the big touchdown. Like that can happen.
Yeah.
But Indianapolis has been better than they started the year against running backs. So it's not like they're a pushover or deemed as a pushover so much anymore. It's more of a neutral matchup. But I just think his involvement, 6.9 with no touchdowns, 69 total yards. That's not going to
I
kill you.
think that's a really unpredictable game. I was looking at betting on that game, and I was just thinking, like, I have no clue what kind of Colts team we're going to get. There's been games where the defense has been incredible. There's been games where the defense has been the worst in the league. Um, there's been games where Joe Flacco has put up 34 points, and there's been weeks where he's sucked. So I don't know what to think about the Colts.
I know.
And the Bills are kind of the same, where I could see them losing this game. I could see this being a dirty game, and I could see this being a dogfight. I don't know. It could go anyway in my opinion. But I like the pick.
Yeah,
I think James Cook will be good because we, from what I've seen, I think we tend to suck against scat backs.
against
Like backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield, because I don't think we have great linebackers.
um, not Zaire
Yeah.
Smith and
Yeah.
EJ
Even if
Speed.
we end up stuffing them in the Zaire Franklin,
Oh
EJ
yeah,
Speed.
yeah. That's
I mean, EJ Speed is, serviceable, and yeah, Zaire Franklin is pretty good, but
I don't know. I
you know,
think James Cook is too talented to be kept down for too long. Um, he
yeah,
had 111 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Seahawks the week before, and I think it's just an off game against a division opponent um, against Miami. Just a weird game. So I think James Cook gets back on track this week. So those are the positive players. Those are the ones that we're excited about. Now, tell me about these trap players. That's a trap. Who's a trap?
all right, I've got some spicy picks this week.
Oh yeah.
This one, I feel like I picked just to be polarizing,
No, jeez.
but there's some fact to it,
Hit me
or
with
maybe
it.
not fact, but Devon Achane versus the Rams. I think it's a trap.
That's
I
crazy.
think that there's a chance he gets scripted out of this game to a certain extent. I think Mostert will get his, which he'll get 10 to 15 carries, and he is like the three down back, and then Achan gets the more valuable touches, but he definitely will probably get equal touches to Mostert in most games. He just does more with them. I think that's gonna be a problem this game because I think Waddle and Hill are going to eat. I think they're going to get this passing game going this week. They're going to be back, and
Yeah, let's go, Tyreek.
I
Come on.
think that doesn't do well for Achan other than touchdown opportunity.
Yeah.
But typically they do put Mostert in on the goal line. So I just think there's a big chance that at the very least you're not getting what you would expect from him.
Um.
And this Rams defense has really started cooking. The D line especially.
Yes, correct. I mean, it is spicy because I would 100% start Devon Achan, and I don't think you're saying like
Oh yeah,
not
I
to
mean you
start
got
Devon
start.
Achan, but
I'm just
he
saying limit expectations.
the Rams defense is getting healthier. I've seen they've been activating a lot of their players to come back because they had that hospital run of like a 2 week stretch where their entire defense was on
Yeah.
IR. So they're now slowly coming back. Um, my problem with Achan getting scripted out is he is second on the team in target share. Like he is like a
Yeah.
receiver to them. Like even if he's lined up in the
That's what I'm
backfield,
saying, though. I think that's where he gets scripted out this week.
but I
Is that
think
I think
he's just
Waddle and
too
Hill take over
involved.
the game.
I think it's just been shown through 3 4 games with Tua and them that like, and just even watching the games, they use the running backs everywhere. Like those
Yeah.
they're not a team that just wants to turn around, hand the ball off, and let them go up the B gap. Like they find ways to get Achan the ball. So I think game scripting him out is pretty tough because I think they know he's a walking touchdown, so they're going to try and get him the ball. Granted, it may not happen, but you could be right. I mean, if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, there will be. I will say this: there will be a game, and it could be this week, where Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Tua, and they get that going to where Achan isn't going to be a factor. Not saying he's going to be a
Yeah.
bust that week, but that can happen because you have such explosive weapons on the outside that can take away from those opportunities. So if you're
Yeah.
calling your shot on it being this week,
Come on it.
we're going to come back to it.
The pass funnel defense for sure. So.
And hopefully Tyreek gets back on track. I should have done Tyreek, but I need some help because I know Jamar Chase is about to do illegal things tonight in Baltimore.
Okay.
So, all right, it's a drop. Number one is someone we talked about yesterday in our tough calls segment. It's DeAndre Hopkins versus Denver. Comes off his. I'd be curious to see what his highest his previous highest fantasy scoring week was outside of this one. But 84-2 is kind of crazy for a 32-year-old DeAndre Hopkins. Not that it's not prescriptive. I still think he's great. But this week, we talked about it. He's got a pass Surtain problem. And if Denver's defense has any sense at all, what other receiver could you possibly be worried about covering on a play-by-play basis other than DeAndre Hopkins? So I can't imagine Surtain doesn't shadow and eliminate Grandpa Hopkins. So don't chase the points this week.
I like it.
I mean, obviously,
I think DeAndre Hopkins as a whole, you can just tell he's in his Larry Fitzgerald old stage of his career where he's running slant routes and he's getting possession. He's the possession receiver for this team. I don't think he's really going to have a game where he gets a ton of yards this year. Like 84 is good, but like DeAndre Hopkins, if he's taken over a game prior, he's having 150 yards. You know what I mean? He's not the same Hopkins, and that's very noticeable.
Yeah.
I mean, without the 2 touchdowns, he doesn't even have a great game. You know?
I mean, what would that be? That would be 6 for 84. But I get what you're saying. He's on my roster. I'm happy to have him there as my wide receiver 4 on my team.
He's a great option if you have somebody on bye or something like that. But
right. But this week,
I don't think he's a starter.
If it's this week, avoid PS2, man. Just don't do it. So
yeah.
Number 2 for you.
All right. I gotta remember what. Okay. So my second is Etienne / Bigsby. So the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
The main reasoning is they both have not been great. Bigsby, I think, has just been a little banged up.
Mm-hmm.
Etienne has just been terrible this year for whatever reason. Maybe he's banged up as too. I have no clue. Maybe he's been playing through an injury this entire season. I hope that's the case because if not, he won't have a job for much longer.
And I was so pissed that I wasn't able to get him in our draft. So I had to take Derrick Henry. Shit, had to take him.
Had to trade him away.
Too soon.
But yeah, Minnesota's defense is insane. Like I said, maybe Gibbs and Kyren can not be affected by that defense. Like I said earlier, they didn't have a problem against Minnesota.
Oh, I was like, what teams are we talking about right here?
Yeah.
Bro?
But Etienne and Bigsby will.
Yeah, especially with potentially no Trevor Lawrence. So the most recent update is
I could see Bigsby being okay. Etienne is definitely it's a trap, but Bigsby may end up being okay just from sheer volume of work because they have no quarterback.
I don't know. I still think that Mac Jones is the type of player like they're going to have a decent amount of confidence in him to run the same offense that Trevor Lawrence was. Not that he'll do it as efficiently, but I don't. He's not like a Brian Hoyer freaking dude who's just like, please just don't lose the game for us. Mac Jones, I think that he's the type of player like that they will try to continue doing what they were doing. So, but I agree though, especially with no Lawrence and playing against what I think is probably a top 3, top 5-ish team in the NFL right now. I'm out. So, sorry Bigsby, sorry Etienne.
All
right. That's a drop for Kyler Murray versus the Jets this week. I said I think that this game the Jets dominate. I said that Devontae Adams in my Bet the House was going to be a top 5 wide receiver this week. I think Brees Hall gets his. Garrett Wilson's going to get his. I think it's going to be an offensive explosion. And I know just by me saying that, it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. They're going to win the game like
Yeah, I have been on
13 to 10.
a similar side, but I'm on the side that both teams will have an offensive explosion. But
No, I just think the team will finally put it together. I just refuse to believe that a team with this much talent, they can't put together a full game against.
I mean the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. I'm saying so. I think they're
Last game they put up 28 points, I think.
no, I know, but I'm saying like going forward, like
Okay.
they
You mean like they're going to start?
they've only won 3
getting on a
games.
roll?
They've only won 3 games so far this year.
Yeah.
So like they're going to continue to put the pieces and fit it together. Kyler Murray had a terrible game last week. He didn't need to have a great game. I don't really blame him for that. But I think the Jets secondary is fantastic. I think Marvin Harrison has some growing up to do. And they're going to lean on James Conner. So similar to what happened last week, he may not play a terrible game, but James Conner is going to absolutely feast this week. I would bet the house on that.
I hope you're right because that means that Trey McBride will suck.
Trey McBride's going to get his, maybe he can get a touchdown, but if, he'll get his 8 targets, maybe it's 5 for 62. Like, that wouldn't surprise me if that was Trey McBride's stat line. Like, 8 targets, 5 for 62.
That'd be good.
Huh?
That'd be good.
For Trey McBride?
Yeah.
It's about what he's averaging. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more than that, but yeah, I mean that's what I'm expecting, unfortunately. So I think Kyler Murray has another down week. So it's a trap.
Well, I guess along the same lines, it's a drop. It's James Conner.
You wrong.
Okay, if they're not moving the ball and he's not getting touchdown opportunities,
I didn't say they weren't going to move the ball. I said that they
then
were,
how is Kyler Murray going to have a bad game?
because I said James Conner's going to feast. It's going to be very similar to what happened last week. You had
Wrong. Against the Lions defense, you think James Conner is going to feast?
who do you think that the Cardinals play this week?
Wait, sorry.
It ain't the
He
Lions.
played the Lions last. He played the Lions. Okay. Sorry, this is a talking point.
He did not play the Lions last week. He played the Bears.
I know. Shut up. I'm saying.
You shut up.
I
You're saying shit.
had it as a talking point. He struggled against the Lions.
Yes.
That was the last bad matchup they had for running backs that he's played. He's had a pretty easy schedule so far. Well, yeah, actually, he's had a great schedule so far. Because the only bad team he's had to face is the Lions. He went 9 for 17.
Yeah.
Yards. He's also slightly injured. He's been limited in practice this whole week. And Trey Benson looked really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they say, hey, look, we're first in the division. Trey Benson is doing enough. DeMarcado is doing enough. Let's just give him limited work this week and see what we've got in Trey Benson, because I don't think James Conner going forward the next 2 years is going to be there. You know what I mean? So I think this might be the week where they say, let's see what Trey Benson has a little bit. I'm not saying they give him, workload, but I'm just saying I think they work him into the game more.
I mean,
he's been slowly getting in there. He had 10 carries last week.
Yeah, which, to be fair, they dominated
That's
that game. They dominated that game, and it was on the back of the run game. So that just goes to my Kyler Murray trap. Is that could be possible, but they're not going to completely remove James Conner from like they're not all of a sudden just going to do 50-50.
I didn't say that.
I know, but if he's going to get all those touches,
you're versing a hard defense,
not against the run. The Jets are not a scary matchup against the run. Very average. Very average.
The stats say that they are top 5 worst matchup for
running backs.
Yes.
I will be the judge of that because I don't believe you.
Or top 10. They're in the red for running backs.
They're not. They give up the 10th most fantasy points to running backs. So they are a bottom third.
I don't remember seeing that
on the NFL Fantasy app. They are worse. They're terrible against wide receivers. They don't give up a ton of points, but the Jets give up the 10th.
They're the 10th best against running backs.
Jets give up the 10th most fantasy points to running backs. That means they're the 10th worst.
Yes. Right.
Well, that's not the case. I'm telling you. They must have glitched the color or something, because the Jets have been a favorable matchup for running backs all year long.
They have not.
They have too.
Dude, you're tripping. You're tripping right now.
I'm
the
not
Jets
tripping.
have been a team you don't reverse against running backs.
Nope. You do your final trap, and I will.
That was my final one, but anyways, I think whatever. You take 10 carries away from James Conner that he would normally get against what I don't think is a plus matchup for him. I don't think he's going to be efficient, or as efficient as he usually is. And now you're taking a little bit of work from him, possibly. It could be a trap.
I mean, okay, we'll come back to that. Part of my Kyler Murray trap is because I think James Conner feasts, so we will see how that comes to fruition. So I'll be curious.
Well, that can still be true if the running backs feast in general.
Yeah, but I don't believe Trey Benson is going to eat enough into James Conner's work to be a detriment to stop him from having.
Well, the issue is that they're going to give Trey Benson carries and DeMarcado carries. So if DeMarcado gets, maybe not even carries, but maybe DeMarcado takes away 4 receptions from James Conner. Maybe James Conner only gets 1 or 2 receptions this game because DeMarcado, who I believe came back from injury, I don't think he's been there this year.
No, he has. He's just not been involved because James Conner has been an absolute monster. I mean, James Conner, he had 12 receiving yards, 16. He had a spike week of 51, then 22, 14, 9, 8, 2, 33 week 1. I'm just saying. And then they go into the bye next week, so it's all out for the Cardinals.
I'm just saying James Conner's always been the player who needs the carries. He's never been a hyper-efficient running back. He's always been a bell horse. What do you call it?
Bell horse? A bell horse.
Bell horse. That's what I said, but that's not right either.
Oh, my God.
Bell cow.
The bell. You're my bell horse. Oh, my God. All right. So we agreed to disagree, and I'm curious to see how that lines up. I will finish my last trap player. It goes... I think I'm noticing a trend how I start to think about these sort of things, because it's very similar to the Kyler Murray situation with James Conner. My trap player is Josh Downs versus Buffalo. Not that he will be bad, but I think Jonathan Taylor has been or is going to feast in that, and I think that the Colts coaching staff knows that they have a all-star running back, and this is how you beat the Bills or can contest the Bills, and it's not through the air. And just in case Flacco has another shitter against a great passing defense, I would avoid it, because I just don't think it's preferable to go against a top 3 team in the NFL with a player like Josh. I almost said Josh Flacco. Joe Flacco, who proved that he can struggle against complex passing defenses. Or not even. Minnesota has been giving up the 5th most passing yards. He was in my FanDuel lineup last week and struggled. Yeah. So something about it just screams scary to me. I think Jonathan Taylor takes it into his own hands. And
look, as a Colts fan, I'm willing to say I don't think Joe Flacco's the answer. I don't think we should.
I don't think the Colts think Joe Flacco's the answer.
Let me say this. I think that we should have benched Anthony Richardson, but I think rest of the season the team is better with him. I know most people don't agree with me, but that's what I think. I think Joe Flacco makes this team very predictable. And I think that's where he got into trouble last week. We started off the game pretty good, keeping up with the Vikings. But once that script runs out and you need a quarterback that can make plays happen, he is not that. He
Yeah.
can do the bare minimum at this point in his career, and maybe a little bit more here and there. And yeah, so I
Yeah.
like it.
I
I
just
think actually it might be a Michael Pittman game.
oh, fuck that guy. I'm done with him. Done with him.
See,
I don't know. He's even. You're right. He is banged up. So with
yeah.
Michael Pittman talking about. So
I honestly, I went back and looked again. I was like, man, wasn't he good last year? And I looked back and I was like, yeah, he's really good with Gardner Minshew,
yeah, he's
which
like the
I
wide
feel like Joe
receiver
Flacco's just as
15.
good as Gardner Minshew. So I
Yeah,
don't know. We could see a resurgence for Michael Pittman this year. I'm hoping because he's on my bench still,
I know.
but he might be on the waiver wire soon. So.
But that's it. We got our back on track, and it's a trap. We have one more segment. My favorite. Is it my favorite? I don't know. I've been saying it's my favorite a lot. I think I just like doing this.
I think it's my favorite to do.
Oh, I look forward to it every week, and
Yeah,
we're we're
it's
even
fun.
we're even on early on time, so we're gonna be sweet and concise here today.
Yeah, it's fun. We've been
But
over on last couple.
FanDuel, DFS. So I explained at the top of the show, we get $60,000 in budget. Players are ranked accordingly. I lost our challenge on Monday, so I now have 7,000 less uh, to put my team together. And last time we did something like this, Justin had the handicap, and he still beat me by quite a bit. He caught lightning in a bottle with the Joe Flacco against the Jags game where
I think
they all
DeAndre
scored.
Swift had like 30 points, something
Yeah,
like that.
caught lightning in a bottle, and that's what I'm about to do with honestly an unintentional strategy, but the value was there and I had to do it. So I will let you start with your quarterback first, and
Ooh,
say they're
you probably went with one team.
um. I have 4 players from one team.
I figured. I honestly thought about you doing that.
It was
So I was like, that's
unintentional,
kind of
but I need it.
okay.
So and I think it's
I'll start
valid.
with my first player.
All right, and say the the
My
the,
first
the money
player,
value and who they're playing.
yeah, my first player. Well, I don't know who they're playing.
Ah, Jesus.
Jalen Hurts at 9,400.
Well, I will tell you that the Eagles play the Cowboys, which you
Okay.
paid up for Jalen Hurts. That he had to be the most expensive QB, right? Had to be.
He was up there.
Had to
I
be
think
the number
Lamar
one.
might have been.
I don't know, bro. I
Actually, Lamar wasn't in our thing.
oh, because you just did Thursday, or you didn't? No,
Yeah.
no, he was because
No, I didn't do Thursday in ours.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was on our separate one. But okay, so 9,400 for Jalen Hurts. So we're
Yep.
already off to a disadvantage here. But my QB is Daniel Jones, 7,200 against Carolina.
Okay.
So
That's actually sneaky.
Daniel Jones has been sneaky good.
That's the team you've got 4 players from.
It is the team I have 4 players from.
I know. You
So
probably have. I know who you have.
I mean, yeah, it's these were no brainers to me. Well, one I was reluctant to have to do, but I digress. Yeah, Daniel Jones 7,200 against Carolina, which leads me to my RB1, which is Tyrone Tracy for 6,100 against Carolina.
I figured.
There's not why for 6,100 to get someone who is actually
Yeah.
leading the NFL
You're great.
rookie rushing yards. He has over 400 rushing yards so far as a rookie, and someone like we had. Well, okay, to be fair, this was not a very good running back class, rookie class, but
Well, to be determined on most of them.
well, what I'm saying is as far as like
Yeah.
opportunity, the first. I mean,
Well,
who
yeah, you got Blake Corum and
not playing,
Brooks
not playing,
and Benson.
barely playing. So Tyron
Yeah.
Tracy's had the. I would say he's had the
Well, Ray
opportunity.
Davis,
Okay,
Brandon Allen.
all backups. So
Yeah.
Tyron Tracy's the only one who stole the job. So I
Yeah, he
think that has
really
something
did
to do.
too. I thought Devin Singletary would come back in and be the guy, and he's not.
I mean, you rush for 140 yards. It's tough to give your job back to a
And he
aging
looks incredible,
mid
dude.
running back.
I watched that game.
So, yeah, Tyron Tracy, 6,100 versus Carolina. That's my RB1. Who is yours?
All right, well,
Bijan Robinson.
no, it's Brees Hall
Yeah,
for
yeah, okay.
8,200.
Jesus Christ. So great start. Jalen Hurts, Brees Hall versus Daniel Jones and Tyrone Tracy. Um, yeah, same concept. Brees is playing the Arizona Cardinals. I told you I think he's gonna have a great game. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
Yep. Probably.
Oh jeez.
Well, like I said.
That was the top. Like you had to spend up for those
Yeah.
guys, so it has to get worse, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
Um, I'm gonna need
He's
this.
running back too.
I'm gonna need this to finish the rest of this lineup. Running back to Jaylen Warren, 5,500 versus Washington.
Damn, that's nasty.
He
That's
is
really nasty.
he is very involved, and Washington defense is not great. Every starting running back is 6,500 plus, so had to do it. And in our FanDuel thing, it's half point PPR, so maybe he can help me out in some PPR garbage points.
That's true. I never really think about that.
Yeah. So Jaylen Warren, 5,500. He is my second cheapest beside the defense player. So
Yeah.
I think it's sneaky against Washington. I think that has potential.
Sure. That's gross.
What do you want from me, man? You started Trey Sermon.
I know you don't have a choice.
You started Trey Sermon last time we did this. So.
But well, he was the starting running back that week.
I suppose. Yeah. I digress.
Mine is DeAndre Swift for 7,700. I'm going back to the well with him. Yeah. He has a good matchup this week, so.
Yeah. No, we talked about it. I said he's back on track, so we're hating every second of this. So my wide receiver one is Tank Dell for 7,200 versus Detroit. I think the Jaylen Warren 5,500 was able to like get me a decent wide receiver one. Detroit is not great against wide receivers if Nico Collins is out, which he limited practice.
Projected play.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. Right. I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's better or worse if there's no Nico. If there is Nico, I don't know. I've just played the matchup. Yeah. He had a good win. He had a good game last week. Praying and hoping that he can build upon his good game last week and help me out. So 7,200 versus Detroit. Yeah.
That's a good fund, I think. All right. My wide receiver one is Tyreek Hill.
You're a fucking asshole. There's no way you can get Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I was okay. So here's the joke. I was trying to recreate your team so that you would be like basically having internal turmoil of being like, you know, I know you don't care about this as much as the other one, but still, you have to think about it.
But, except for DeAndre Swift. Okay. No, you didn't want to take Joe Mixon against Detroit?
Oh, I couldn't build your team on this.
Oh, yeah, my team's too damn good. That's why.
I think that's the last player.
But fair. I mean, I just talked about Tyreek Hill. He's going to take the fuck off against the Rams. So that really sucks. So far, between four positions, we have Daniel Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Jaylen Warren, Tank Dell versus Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, and Tyreek Hill. That's gross. So I'm going to now take the lead with this pick. With my wide receiver 2, it's Juwan Jennings for 5,800 versus Tampa Bay. I knew it. I knew there was no shot he was not going to end up in your lineup. So we'll call that a wash because I almost had Ricky Pearsall in. Okay. I couldn't afford Juwan Jennings. He was 100 more, and I sat there on the app working this $100 I had to work with like a million different ways, and I finally figured it out what I needed to do.
I'll say you are in a bit of trouble because we both have a couple of the same players. So that puts you at a major disadvantage.
How do you know?
Because we'll get to it.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. Well, then who's my wide receiver 3?
Well, I don't know. Tell me.
No, I want you to guess. I'll give you a hint. It was 6,200.
Okay, well, that's not who I thought it was. So he's more expensive than your wide receiver too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just the way that it was. It's still the wide receiver position.
Um, Wandale Robinson.
No, I didn't go that nasty in with the Giants. Thank you very much. No, it's Khalil Shakir, 6,200.
Okay, I was looking at him too.
Uh, there's not much I can do.
You know what's funny is when I was guessing, I was like Khalil Shakir, but I was thinking of the Giants
Okay.
wide
No,
receiver.
I
And
took
went,
Shakir.
who's the Khalil Shakir of the Giants? And I went Wandale Robinson.
So this is what I did. So I had Ricky Pearsall and Keon Coleman because I wanted the Bucks matchup with the Niners, and I wanted someone for the Bills against the Colts. But with Keon Coleman's injury, I was like, nah. So I was able to flip it, but it did cost me the tight end I wanted. So I'll let you go through your wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I know who you got tight end. My wide receiver 3 is Jalen Coker.
Ew.
Yeah, obviously I had to make some.
What does he cost?
He cost $5,500.
You got the same cost as Jalen Warren.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to sacrifice a little bit there. But also, he's been kind of good.
He looked extremely talented in the game against Denver. He was making some
Yeah.
crazy catches, and like obviously they were getting like blown out. But
I'd heard other people mention him, and when I saw his name so low, I was like, let me see what he's done in recent games. He's had like over 50 receiving yards each game. So I'm like,
Bryce Young's looking better. So
good floor for me. I'll take it.
yeah, all right, fair. So I'm curious to see what your tight end flex and defense look like. But if you know my tight end, it's Theo Johnson.
Yeah, I know.
I had Jonnu Smith. I really wanted Jonnu Smith. I mean, I didn't really want Jonnu Smith, but
Yeah.
as far as what was available. But that was the cost it was to keep Juwan Jennings and Shakir versus like nobody's. And I was like, I'll just pray on the Carolina defense. Maybe Theo Johnson catches a touchdown. And that was, I mean, he cost $5,000. he was my cheapest player at $5,000. So let me guess. You have freaking.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you have Gesicki.
I tried to get Trey McBride.
Oh, so you tried. Did you get?
Like I said, I tried to recreate your team, but no, I had to get nasty with my tight end.
Did you get Kate Otten?
Nope, I got Cole Kmet.
Oh.
For 5,100.
Okay.
Which I feel like that's really low for him. He's been pretty damn good this year.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you don't know what you're getting from the Bears.
Right.
But they've got a really good matchup this week.
So I'm hoping. I mean, you got DeAndre Swift and Cole Kmet, so going in on 2 Bears. So
yeah,
we'll see. Which I thought about Cole Kmet too, but I was like, I have the stack with Daniel Jones and Theo Johnson, so I'm like, I need the upside too if I can get a 2-for-1 touchdown. Plus for 5,000, which
help you screw you.
Which really helped me because I was excited to get this person in my flex. I don't know why, it just seemed right, and I'm like, this is gonna work. And unfortunately, I hate that it's gonna work. My flex this week is Taysom Hill for 6,300.
Nice.
So unfortunately, I think Taysom Hill is going to be super involved, and he's going to have a great game against the Falcons this week. So,
yeah, I mean the issue is they don't have anybody else.
I know
It's Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill.
For him to be a potential quarterback, running back, tight end at 6,300 when he's like the number 2, 3, and 4 option at those respective positions, I think it's a good bet. So,
yeah.
Let me guess.
Right,
Jamar Chase is in my flex.
That would be pretty funny. I should have let like Tyreek Hill be in my flex or something.
You should have. I thought about
make it the get shot. No, it's Tyrone Tracy.
Oh, are you serious? God damn it.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We have another player.
I know. He's such a good value this week. It's insane.
He was.
Well, that blows. So
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like having him and Jennings, that does definitely hurt you
Yeah,
in
and
that way.
clearly, I have the Giants versus Carolina as their defense. So
Me too.
I know. So
You spent up on a defense with this. You could have gotten so much more.
I tried that last week, and I got -3 points from Denver's defense. So
Yeah.
I am just trying to avoid negative points, if at all. That was my thought process. I was like,
I will say that's why I went with like a Coker instead of like I don't know. I could have got a more serviceable like a Keon Coleman or something. Um, but I was like, you know
so you went
what? I'm just gonna
against your
get better
defense.
defense.
If Jalen Coker has a
Frustrating.
game, you handicap your points on defense. But anyway, so when it comes down to it, it's so minus Tyron Tracy, minus Juwan Jennings, minus the Giants. No, so we have three. We have three players in the same. Tyron Tracy, Jennings,
Oh, the
and
Giants, yeah.
Giants defense, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Tyron Tracy. So only three. You said four. Who do you think we had?
I didn't say four. I said we have a couple of the same players.
But yeah. So honestly, I think I'll take that because, well, not really, because those are the ones I kind of,
I
well,
have like your good players.
right.
That's your issue.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe, I mean, if Daniel Jones can and Malik Neighbors, he's my back on track. Maybe if that connection can blow up, that'll help me out. If Tank Dell can catch a bomb touchdown, Shakir.
Yeah.
You don't have Shakir, do you? No.
No.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm
I
not
actually
sure.
had $100 left over as well.
I tried for 40 minutes dealing with this single $100 and how I could get there. So, all right, we will see. T minus what? Oh, I don't have any players playing tonight. Justin does, and it is our hate week, so this is our final update before we move on through round 2 of our hate week. I took the dub week 1. It wasn't even close, was it? Not to like rub it in.
30.
Actually, I can pull it up real quick. Oh, it was exactly 30. Damn, that stuck with you. It's 30.14. Exactly. And now we're on week 10. Oh, it makes me so sad. I'm looking at on our thing, like to click on the weeks, and it's like 80% through. Like we're almost to the end where I can check.
We have 4 games.
Well, 5 including this week, but yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, Jamar Chase and I have a chance come Monday because if I start out, you just have him though, right? Yeah, that's it. And you have.
Yeah, I guess since we have a little time, I do. Let's we haven't done a last call parlay in a while. I'll just say the parlay I'm betting on tonight.
Okay, hit me.
All right, let me see. All right, so I told Kyle I was going a little safer because we have not hit a parlay yet.
Yeah, we're doing pretty bad. We're new to this.
I think this one's pretty good. It's only plus 200 odds for a 5-leg parlay, but
Zelda must like
you
it.
know, yeah, she likes it. What is it? What's the parlay?
It's a bullshit. That sounded funny.
All right. Joe Burrow hits the over for 225 yards. Jamar Chase over 50 yards.
Layup.
Zay Flowers over 40.
Layup. He's getting 150.
This one is the one I'm a little sketched out about, but T. Higgins being out makes this pretty likely. Mike Gesicki over 40 yards.
I think he gets that too.
And Derrick Henry over 65 yards.
There's no way he doesn't get that, bro.
Yeah, so I think it's
Derrick Henry is going to tonight because I watched the last. I know this is my final down to the pinpoint prediction. Okay. Derrick Henry is going to be 10 for 42 to start. This is like very middling, and then he's going to hit a 40-yard run to finish the game with like 18 carries for 112. So he's going to be very average, like 3.5.
18 carries.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think he's only going to get 18
I would say
carries.
probably averages about 22.
Yes, correct. I'm just going based on what I saw from the last game. Not like it's going to be exactly
Yeah.
prescriptive of what's
Well,
going
you
to
think the
happen.
Bengals are going to score a lot, and so the Bengals or the Ravens will have to put in Justice Hill, and
Correct.
yeah,
He had his worst game of the year. Nope, second worst game of the year. Nope, I lie. I'm just talking shit. But it's on the lower tier. Well, he had 15.6 points
okay,
against, and I remember that because I had him at that point in time, and he had a 50-yard run, got tackled at the 8-yard line in overtime. Then they just kicked the field goal after that to win. If he didn't have that, he only finished the game with 92 yards. So
okay.
that boosted his total.
Could
And
have had
gave
an
him,
8-yard touchdown, then it got the bonus points, but
I know, but no. Um, he had 15.6, and his lowest of the season was actually week 1 with 10.6 and then 13.7. So his third lowest. But I digress. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. I don't know.
yeah, you will.
Well, for the FanDuel, I'm still whooping your ass in our league. Like there's no shot against
Oh,
that.
probably not.
No.
No,
You have Jalen
I'm
Hurts.
probably whooping your ass.
You know deep down, Jalen Hurts going to be the number one QB of the week. Brees Hall is going to have his best week of the year. I already said Tyreek Hill is going nuts.
I actually did like a matchup, and I was thinking like through it. I think you do. You have a leg up on me this week by one position, but that means I only
By
need.
what position? By one? Only one of my players you
Yeah.
take over yours this week?
Um, I'm not saying that necessarily. So I think that our quarterbacks are basically a scratch. I think that
Jalen Hurts
you
against
might
a
get a little.
terrible Dallas defense, or Washington, or Jay Daniels against Pittsburgh. You can't
Yeah, I mean
even
you're
lie.
also talking about a divisional game.
Okay, for you too, or no, not for you. No, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that yeah, maybe I'll give the nod to Jalen Hurts, but I don't think it's going to be anything that I can't overcome at another position. You know what I mean? I'd take my running backs this week for sure.
I think Brees could probably
Honestly,
match Bijan.
I'd take my
I'll
running
take
backs.
I'll take Jonathan Taylor over Joe Mixon this week. I think Brees and Bijan could be a wash with great matchups between the two. I take Tyreek Hill over Terry McLaurin this week in particular. I'll take Jamar
Yeah,
Chase over Cooper Cup.
yeah,
I It's kind of hard to predict Taysom Hill or Trey McBride. That's just like very different
that's
types of
probably
players. So
wash.
we'll see how that goes. Debo, if he plays versus Ramondre Stevenson against Chicago,
I think that's a wash, in my opinion.
I give like 10% extra to Debo just because of like big play potential. Ramondre doesn't have that. Um, and then kicker and defense. So it's very close. I am projected to win by what is that?
Like
7 because
7.
my projections are like through the roof because Mixon, Breeze, Tyreek, like Jalen Hurts, like they just have default high predictions every week. But it is
Yeah,
nice to
for
look
whatever
at.
reason, they always do. They don't give Terry McLaurin his flowers still in the projections.
No, they don't. I don't know why. Let me see. Let me see what Terry McLaurin is projected because he's been fantastic. Oh, I guess it doesn't show.
It's like 9 points.
But that's it from us. We will have updates on Monday. Yeah, this is it. So we will know.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have anyone that plays Monday? I don't, or you don't. Do I? Because we should. Because if that's the case, then we'll know. Oh, yeah. I got 2 Monday night players. You're going to be sweating
Yeah.
your ass. Yeah, because it's Cooper Cup and Tyreek Hill, Rams and Dolphins.
Oh, no.
Oh yes, so I get to watch him stew
That is
and
actually scary because it's like no matter if I'm up by 35, it's still
that's
scary.
still yeah. You would have to be up by 50 plus to be like 100% confident.
Yeah.
Cuz 40 points, that's doable between a player like Tyreek and Cooper
40
Cup.
points is where I would be
You'd be
not
confident but
sweating.
not like
Yeah, I
I've
would not be
won.
sweating, but I would be like, I'd be watching the game for sure every second.
I know. Oh, now I'm excited for Monday night. Well, now I'm see now if I'm like within this is where it's going to be a trap. This is the trap of the week because if I only need like 18 on Monday, I should be like, oh, in the bag, and watch them get 15 points combined on Monday night. So this is going to be torturous for both of us, I think. But that is why we play this stupid game that we love.
Yes.
Adrenaline
junkies.
I know. So we did it. Another full week. We're back, baby. As always, subscribe, like the video.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys subscribe right now, listen, what is the date? November 7th, 2024. If you guys subscribe today,
what was that for?
I will give each subscriber that subscribes in the next month $1,000 when we make it big, because we will. So listen, look, if you guys subscribe, $1,000. So subscribe. It's not just free for you to subscribe anymore. You're getting $1,000.
Everyone who subscribes between November 7th
and that does not count unsubscribing and resubscribing. Caleb.
Yeah, dickhead. November 7th, 2024 through December 7th, 2024. After we hit 10,000 subscribers, all 6 of you that do, you will get $1,000.
Yes.
Stamp it. I don't know if that's against like YouTube's policies, so we'll see. But
it's a giveaway.
It's a giveaway.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're out of here. As always. It's last
it's
call.
always that call. Bye bye.
Bye bye.